campus than I do.
I'm actually in the Liverpool area, similar
Okay,
to you, but
okay.
thankfully Route 7 was clear today. We got in 7th North. It was not as bad as what your experience sounded like.
Yeah, the experience was definitely unique to get into here, and I will say that, I mean, the roads were, it was like a winter wonderland. I mean, you see the trees, and I'm a big kid at heart, so you do like kind of see that picturesque. You come around the corner and you see the snow all over the trees and the snow on the ground, and nothing's touched it yet, and it kind of makes you nostalgic. You think about all these movies growing up. So we definitely had our winter, and I tell people all the time, if Syracuse gets 2 good winters in a row, you're going to get hit. And this is the year that we've gotten hit. So it's definitely been unique, interesting. And speaking of unique and interesting, we are going to have a fantastic broadcast here. I call it a Bobcat Takeover. So I'm on campus. The Bobcats have locked the door. I cannot leave. I have to do the entire show here. And all jokes aside, it's going to be exciting. From the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and of course, Great Lakes Honda City in Liverpool. You'll find them on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, new and used cars. And of course, they're open Monday through Saturday for sales and service. To find out more of all the great vehicles you can get, including my 2025 CRV, go to greatlakeshondacity.com. And of course, we appreciate y'all for being with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we appreciate you for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, we're very happy to have Brooke here on the broadcast. We're going to be doing a lot of different things on the show today, things that you're used to, but Brooke is not. So we're going to have the annoying moment of the week, which is proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt inside of MON-FRI's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. That'll be first. And then we'll jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Today's topic from Chick-fil-A Cicero, what is leadership? Perfect for a new athletics director. And then we'll jump into our top dog of the week from Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. And we will honor our top dog of the week, each of us. And then we will learn a little bit more about Brooke's story in this special exclusive with her and her jump into this leadership role from being in another role of leadership on campus here before that. And we will, of course, put each other on the hot seat in rapid fire. So, with that being said, without further ado, it is time for the annoying moment of the week. It is by far an intro that I love hearing every time.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
the annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. All right, Brooke, you get to take it away.
Oh
What
my
is your annoying moment?
Goodness, I would think that my annoying moment. So last week I had the pleasure of going to Scotland to see one of my best friends get married. So that was beautiful, wonderful, loved it. But with traveling to Scotland comes travel and planes and weather and all of that fun. So I was traveling back this Sunday in order to get right busy into the week on Monday.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. All the travel, everything going on. Every time I think I get on a plane, I think to myself, why do we not have teleportation yet at this point in time? I'm really a large advocate for that. That soon, that would be great. But we just had a fantastic trip, but coming home is always the worst part, especially when you're going out, you're excited to go, you're ready. The plane trips feel like nothing. When you're coming back, it feels like a long haul, that's for sure.
So your annoying moment of the week, travel. Was there anything about travel that was especially annoying for you?
On the way there, we taxied around Heathrow Airport in London for probably about an extra hour.
Okay.
So I missed my next flight, and getting all the connections and everything wrapped up was just a bit annoying. Not the worst thing in the world. Thankfully got to where I needed to be on time, but it was definitely a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, and I can understand that. I mean, for those of you that obviously have been watching and listening to the show over the weeks, and we appreciate that very much so, is I've had the experience of travel that I believe got me sick. So coming back from San Diego, now those of you that have clocked the travel, I have in about a month and a half's time, work-wise, I was in Happy Valley, which I drove to Happy Valley, drove to State College, PA, for the first round in the college football playoff. Then I flew to San Diego for the Holiday Bowl that Syracuse was in, DirecTV Holiday Bowl. Then I came home for a day. I have to think about this. I came home for a day for my dad's birthday. Then I flew out to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl for the quarterfinal round of the college football playoff. Then I came home. Then I went to Texas, Dallas, Arlington for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in the semifinal. Came home, flew back to Atlanta for the national championship. So all of that happened between December 20th and January 20th, January 21st, so a month's time. And when I was coming back from San Diego, there was a woman that, there was 3 seats, and she sat closest to the window, then there was a seat in the middle, then there was me. I was wearing a mask. I always wear a mask on the plane just because people are gross, and they've been gross since before COVID. And, I mean, let's just be real. They're gross. You can laugh. And but they don't care. And that's what I mean. I mean, they cough on everything. They sneeze on everything. They touch everything. They just don't care. And so this woman, she was hacking up a lung, not like a little, like a full-blown, like she's patient zero. And she's COVID 20, and she's coughing all over all this stuff, and then she puts a mask on. A half an hour after she did this, like coughed all over everybody and everything, and then she took it off again for an hour and a half, coughed all over everything, and then put the mask back on. And in the meantime of all of this, she was ordering vodka as if it were water. And so my experience was, if I get sick, I know exactly where I got it from, and I did. I was under the weather. I was still trying to kick it out, whatever this was. But yeah, I blame patient zero. I blame this woman. So I could understand travel. My annoying moment of the week, I think I said this last week, but it kind of goes off of that, is that I had to go to a doctor's appointment for an injury that I had a long time ago. So you're not in a normal doctor's office. Like, people aren't supposed to be sick. These are just injuries, you know. So I go into this place, and they ask you these questions. I genuinely feel like it's like an FBI interrogation when you go to any doctor's office now. Have you traveled within the past few weeks? Do you have COVID? Have you been around anyone that has COVID? And then I feel like they lock you up and put you in like a hazmat suit and bring you into some building, like some Alcatraz or something like that. So it almost feels like being a mutant for those of you like me that are fans of the X-Men. So I went up to this woman, and I was going there for an injury, and she said, have you traveled? And I said, yeah. Well, how often? I said, I've been to a bunch of places. Well, when? And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell this woman 2 places. I'm not going to tell her everywhere I've been. I was like, I've been to a couple places. She's like, do you have COVID? No. Have you been around anyone that has COVID? No. After she asked me those questions, she proceeded to cough, again, like this other woman, just hacking, into her arm, doesn't wash it off, doesn't wash her hands, touches all my stuff, and hands me a thing to fill out. And I was like, so in my head was like, have you traveled outside? Have you been exposed to COVID? I feel like I should be able to ask those questions now. So, I mean, that's an annoying moment, first and foremost, because I feel like we've gotten very invasive with people since COVID. And I think that, like, the HIPAA law is gone. But I feel like there's a very invasive nature of people now, because I get sinus infections. And when and they pose the same, I guess, symptoms as having COVID. So I remember I went in a few years ago to a place, and the lady goes, do you have is your nose stuffed? It's probably COVID. And she wasn't even helping me. This guy was helping me. And she's like whispering to him. She's like, it's probably COVID. And then she's like, do you have a cough? It's probably COVID. I was like, can you just seem like you have to beg people? So going off of all of that, here's my annoying moment of the week. I have wisdom teeth. And anything I've learned about wisdom teeth is if they come down, like 99.9% of people have to get rid of them because they suck. They stay in your face, and they're evil, and they're mean. I don't know why they call them wisdom teeth. They're rude, and they're disrespectful.
Ugh.
So,
It's true.
so I had a dentist who for the past, a really nice guy, but for the past year, he has said to me, like, your wisdom teeth are totally fine. It's not going to do anything to you. They're not going to bother you. Like, it's not causing any of your problems. Well, Brooke, I'm going to ask you to be a dentist for a minute. Where are your wisdom teeth located?
In the back of your mouth.
Right, they're, yeah, like right around here, right?
Yeah.
Like right here.
If you're me, they're gone. But
Okay, so here. So I've been told for months, like, you have TMJ, you have all this stuff, and I keep pointing to my wisdom teeth. So he told me they're totally fine. I've had nerve pain. I've had like weird nerve stuff going on. I've had things go down my face. I've had inflammation. It plugs my ear. It goes up my head. And I keep complaining about the same thing. He says you're fine. So I get a new dentist. New dentist, really nice guy. And so he goes, I think we might need to realign your jaw. You may need braces. Now, I've never needed braces my whole life. My teeth have always been straight. I've been fine. So, never needed braces. I said, I thought my teeth were perfect. He goes, they are, but you may need braces. So they send me to an orthodontic, gives me a bill, and she said, just so you know, it's a free consultation, but if you get the Invisalign and all the stuff we want you to do, it's going to be about $7,000. But we're not going to do anything with your wisdom teeth. So I went to a surgeon yesterday. They moved my appointment up, thank God. This was a God thing. Because I literally saw the new dentist last Thursday, then I saw the orthodontic on Wednesday, saw the surgeon yesterday. Surgeon says, I told him, I said, this is where my pain is. It emanates here. There's nerve pain going on with it. It makes my teeth feel like they're frozen. It makes my head feel like plugged and stuffy. It plugs out my ear. My ear has pain. I'm having all this pain in my mouth, pain in my tongue, pain with my muscles around my throat, my neck. I said, if you don't take them out, Doc, I'm going to take them out. So Doc looks at me for a couple minutes. He's like, we got to take these wisdom teeth out. I said, really? You don't say. So he gives me the bill for the wisdom teeth, less than half the price of the Invisalign braces I don't need. So they would have given me these things for $7,000, and I would have still needed to get all my wisdom teeth out. So I would have spent $11,000. So my annoying moment of the week is that I really don't think that every doctor listens. And what really made me sad, and I had to think about this, and I said this to my dad, because my dad actually prosecuted dentists and doctors that were stealing money from people right here in New York State to the tune of like $2 billion at times. He actually went after dental places that were having you come in 1, 2, 3 times. When they could do everything in the first visit, they kept telling you to come back because they billed the insurance, they billed you. So they were getting 3 times the money for one visit. And I had to realize that I'm talking to people about pain in my mouth and things that bother me and the fact that I can't sleep. And their response to me was not in the best interest of me, it was in the best interest of making money. And you forget that you think when you go to healthcare, you have this mentality when you go to healthcare that they are only there to make you feel better. Like you don't feel good, they have a heart. We think everybody in healthcare has a heart, they care about us. We go in, we say we have pain, and they say, Mr. Tortora, Miss Paro, we're going to do everything we can to make you feel better. What I realized in my life is they are businesses too, and some of them just want to make money. So they look at me and say, well, if we tell them we got to get the wisdom teeth out, we're the orthodontics. We don't get paid for that. So if we can get $7,000 before he goes to see the surgeon, then we've made money. And I'm not saying that that's what these people did, but it's more of a plan of they look at me like buying a new Cadillac as opposed to he just needs to get his wisdom teeth out. Why don't we tell him to do that first? So my annoying moment of the week is that the healthcare industry has been, in my opinion, compromised over the years. And I think that we need to do a better job at helping people, looking out for people. And, you know, I mean, as a kid, I grew up where if I don't feel good, I run to a doctor, and the doctor's, he's got the magic, right? She's got the magic. They're going to make me better. And now as an adult, People think I don't go to the doctor because I'm Italian and Hispanic, which could be true, but it's also because there's a lack of trust.
Yeah.
And I don't want to admit that there's a lack of trust, but there is. So, anything you want to add to my annoying moment?
Yeah, actually, this made me think. So, at our Bryant Stratton Liverpool campus, we offer nursing. So, we offer a bachelor's program you can do in 3 years. It's great. Part of my job, I get to have dual positions. Our lights are timed. Dan, thank you for turning those back on for us. So, part of my other position, I get to have a bit of a dual role here on campus, and it's community outreach and relations with our community, getting to go into high schools, getting to visit in our nursing homes where we have our nurses, different things like that. And when we went out to a trip to the Auburn Cayuga BOCES, and I got to bring our nursing instructor, she's our program director for nursing out at the Liverpool campus. Her name's Kara Evans. She's amazing. And as she talked to these high school seniors who are looking towards nursing, I was so impressed by her. And if I had a second chance, I was like, I want to learn under her. If I was going to go into a nursing program, she talked about the empathy you need, the heart you need, the why behind what you're going to step into, what you're doing. And I just was absolutely astounded by her, and I just thought she's just an inspiring person. And I was like, if she's touching each one of these nurses, and these nurses go out into their fields with this passion and this drive to be a nurse, and their why being to make the world a better place, I feel like healthcare will change. And I am very proud to say that I strongly believe Bryant Stratton College is one of those advocates for change within the nursing and healthcare world. So as you spoke about that, I was thinking about Kara in the back of my head the whole time, just being like, wow, we're extremely lucky to have her as a program director for our nursing program.
Yeah, and I think, like, and that was the thing, is like, I prayed to God, you know. Yesterday was like my kind of, I didn't sleep. I'm going to this appointment. I'm just praying somebody listens to me. And, you know, he said, I was like, I feel like they're going to take this one out, but will they take, like, the rest of them? And he's like, yeah, we're going to do this and this and this. And I felt like, okay, like, you know, somebody cares. And I've met a lot of people that care in this industry, and I've also met a lot that I don't want to say I met a lot, I met a few that don't. And so to me, it's just, I feel bad because when I look at these things, I think about my grandmothers that lived into their 80s, their hundreds, and, you know, what are they going to say, right? There's older people out there that don't have the love and support. They don't have the aide who is going to read through this and say, you don't need this, you do need this. So, you know, I always look at things from the perspective of how does it affect other people, not just how it affects me. And, like, I have parents that ask questions. I ask questions. But not everybody has a family that is going to look out for that. So there are people signing their life away and signing, you know, I mean, I remember with a knee injury, this one place wanted to do experimental surgery, and they're like, oh, it'll be 10 grand, it's fine, and all this stuff. And I brought it to another doctor for a second opinion, and he said it sounded like you were going to be a guinea pig to something that may work, or it may just be, and if it doesn't work, like, they can use you as a study, but they don't really care about your knee. They just cared about getting the money and getting to essentially get data. And so, you know, I don't like thinking that way, but I've learned as I've grown up and I'm around a lot of people and been to a lot of places, is I see the world through I try to see the world through God's eyes. Not everybody does that. And if I was a doctor, I would take $3 and get you healthy instead of $3,000 and not really care if you come back to see me, or hope that you come back so I get another $3. So I think that in all seriousness, is funny as it is at times, and kind of joking about the annoying moment, I do think that we have to be a little more caring, a little more open, and I think you have to listen to your patients, because walking, I mean, and I track things. Like, I'll track something for a long time and say, Doc, this doesn't make any sense that this muscle would be affected by this, but every time I do this, this happens. So tell me what this is. And I feel like I've kind of become my own doctor, which I did not go to school for that. So I cannot perform brain surgery, but if my brain needed to be worked on, you could be sure that I would do everything and anything to like tell the doctor, hey, this is what I think. And yeah, I think you need to ask questions. I mean, I did that with my grandmother, and you get all these answers to questions you wouldn't have gotten. I did it with my ex's dad. Nobody asked questions. She didn't ask. Her sister didn't ask. And so I went and spoke with one of the guys working in the hospital, and I said, well, tell me everything that's going on. Tell me why it is. Tell me where it's coming from. And I went back to them and I go, you didn't bother to, like, this is the state of your father. This is everything that we have. And like, if I didn't go up here and decide to do this for someone who's not my dad, I mean, you would just be nodding your head going, okay, he needs this, he needs that, instead of saying, like, what does he need, what doesn't he need, what is his fault? Like, what can he work on? And do we really need 7 pills, or can we work with 3? So I feel like we all need to have an advocate, but not everybody does. So it's the responsibility for the healthcare industry to be the advocate.
Well, and I think you bring up a great point, too, on advocacy, because working at a college and talking about leadership today, I think that is one of the huge calls that leaders in different industries, if you get to work with even those older than you or younger than you, it doesn't really matter, the importance of teaching advocacy. This past semester, I had the pleasure of doing like a hybrid course that was a student support class. So all of our first term athletes were immediately enrolled to this class with me. They were so excited. And it was a hybrid between college success and study hall as well. So I got to write all the curriculum for this, and one of our sections in one of our weeks was advocacy and learning how do you advocate for yourself, because that is not something we can assume is taught anymore in a modern day world, because obviously a lot of that hopefully comes from a home life, and you can't always guarantee that anymore. So one of the things I really strive to teach our athletes and teach our students in the residence hall is how to advocate for yourself, whether that's in the classroom, whether that's on a field, whether that's in a hospital room, whatever that is. And I think that's a huge blessing and opportunity that we as leaders in Central New York have, is to be able to teach and educate others around us on how to be advocates for themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's huge to do something like that. By the way, Brooke had no idea that I was going to bring this up as my annoying moment of the week. Yet, but I want to speak to that for a second. We're going to speak to it in the next segment for sure. But you don't have on Wake Up Call, there's no notes, right? I told you we're going to do these 3 segments, but I didn't say I'm going here, you're going there. The media has failed the world in some instances of turning a camera on and just putting someone on the spot and going after them. And at the same time, they have taken other people and put them on the show, and this is what you have to say. Like, here's all the things. I didn't tell you I'm going to talk about healthcare, and yet you have all these examples of, well, we did this, we did that, and I'm hearing, what you've been through, Dan, and I'm telling you that we're trying to change that at Bryan and Stratton. That speaks to the fact that you're doing more than simply sitting at a desk and just telling people what to do.
Yeah.
So I think, before we take a step aside here on Wake Up Call, I want to credit the story that we're telling of you today and the fact that you had examples of positive change that I didn't provoke, nor did I give you notes on. So I think that's pretty cool that, I could say something that I don't like is happening in society for people, mass, not just me, but to the masses, and that you could say, well, listen, Bryan and Stratton has a few things that we've done here that I think are going to potentially bring about a positive change. So credit to the fact that you're going beyond your call of duty as the athletics director to learn these things and to learn about the curriculum and what your student athletes and what your students are learning here at Bryan and Stratton and how that can help change, because I presented a problem and you talked about a solution, and I think that that's huge. So Bryan and Stratton, once again, a great place to get an education. We're going to take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. I'm going to let healthcare and coughing people off the hook, and we're going to take, we'll be back right after this with LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is the acronym. We'll be talking about what is leadership. And of course, Brooke will start for us, and I will continue the conversation back and forth. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. But what is not annoying is no matter how much snow we get or don't get, whatever the weather may be, there is the opportunity to go to Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Have you had a Carvel cake before?
I don't know if I've had a Carvel cake. I've had their ice cream.
Okay. So I tell people this all the time because my family had this growing up. There's ice cream cakes and there's Carvel ice cream cakes. Carvel ice cream cakes will make you hate every other ice cream cake that's ever been made. And Carvel DeWitt, the cool thing about it is they make the ones that people know, but then they also go beyond and they let their decorators just kind of do whatever's in their imagination. So they've made like giant cheeseburger cakes and all this stuff. So it's really, really cool. But you can go to Carvel DeWitt. You can get my sundae there. And, of course, you can get all the wonderful things that you love so very much. And we're going to have to, who celebrates Brooke's birthday and didn't buy her an ice cream cake from Carvel? Your husband's name is Nick, correct?
Yes.
Hi, Nick. Nick, it's 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt. Today is Valentine's Day. They have little cupcake ice cream cakes. They have heart ice cream cakes. I'm trying to help you, Nick. I know it's not that far from where you live, so I suggest you get out there today. So what do you think? Should Nick have a cake for you today?
Oh, I absolutely think he should go get a cake. Please go get a cake for me.
So, Nick, I'm just going to say this to you. The way that she said, I think he absolutely should, she gave me the look as if it was my responsibility to make it your responsibility. I felt it in my chest.
I'll be passing his phone number on to you after the show.
Okay, yeah. So, Nick, do what needs to be done so that the both of us can't be in trouble, because she just threw shade at me for you, and I don't want to take that smoke from Brooke. So we'll be back after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, on site, on location in a Bobcat takeover here on campus at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, and I'm here with new athletics director Brooke Paro to tell her story, as well as to have our trio of signature segments inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Did you enjoy that last one?
I did. I was laughing through the whole commercial. Oh my gosh, that was a good one.
Yeah. Who did it sound like?
Oh, I don't know.
Did you ever watch Home Alone?
Oh my goodness, it does. It sounds like the bad guy on Home Alone.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't give up my sources. So, but yeah, we definitely had a good time making that. Head out to Brooklyn Pickle. We all know Brooklyn Pickle here in Central New York, but Brooklyn Pickle is now also in North Carolina on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines. It's right by Pinehurst Golf Courses, which are used for the PGA Tour. So make sure you head over there today. It is time for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And so Brooke is joining me for the first time ever here, sitting together to have this broadcast. And I thought to myself, I was like, we can tell your story and we could do an interview, or I can just give you the whole show to do with me, to just let people see your personality as well, and to be a part of these segments we've had for so many years. So it's one thing to have a conversation. It's another thing to say, you know, hey, Brooke, come into the fabric of Wake Up Call and see what we're all about and show people who you are. So today's topic that we have for Lead is, what is leadership? And you are obviously the new athletics director here at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, but you were in a leadership role before this that allowed you to work with the student athletes. Yeah. So I'd love for you to kind of share your story of your path of leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start my story, it would actually be way before I came on staff in 2020. I actually got to know Bryan and Stratton College because I was a player. So back in 2017, I had a call with our great coach, Alex Gregorita, talking about potentially coming here on a soccer scholarship to play as a left wing, which I will note, yes, Coach Alex told me I was going to be a left wing. I never touched the left wing. I played left back my entire time. Okay. At Bryan and Stratton College. We were laughing about it yesterday in the office because I am still a little bit petty about that one because I came to score goals, but instead I stopped them for all my 2 years here. But yeah. So I came in August of 2017 as a player, and it was probably 2 of the best years of my life. I worked under a great coaching staff who really developed leadership and instilled the desire to lead others well. So I came here, played as left back. In that, I had already started my leadership journey. I was a captain of our women's soccer team here. I was a resident assistant within our residence hall, and they gave me just a ton more opportunities. So I actually interned with Coach Nick for 1 semester when we were doing our sports banquet and all those fun things, and just got to see inside and take a quick peek at the leadership here at Bryan and Stratton College. So that was my experience. I graduated out, and I had moved to London to do to work over there in data analytics, and my heart missed here. I was thinking about my college, thinking about all the great memories, and then our wonderful COVID hit, which gave me a great return back to the college, which is when I started on staff. I became an assistant housing director over in the residence hall, so basically they work on the weekends and get to know the students that way. And then I also took an office position. So I worked there a couple of years, transitioned through into being the director of residence life, which is where I really got to step into leadership as an official role at the college. So as the residence life director, the majority of our students, I would say 90% of our residential students are athletes. Yeah. So they're near and dear to my heart. And then they are also very much diverse. We have athletes from all around the world. So currently within the residence hall, we have students from Haiti, Greek, the Caribbean, where else? Spain. Yeah. We have students from all over the world. So it has just been Canada, closer to home for us. Yeah. But it just gave me an amazing experience to start to learn leadership, because there is that balance between wanting to truly love on our students and be their support, be their advocate. But then also leadership comes with some hard notes of discipline and correction, because that is all part of growth. So that was the best start for me, because I had to learn how to do both simultaneously. Because on a Thursday night, last night actually, we just ran a murder mystery program for all of our students. And you're running around and you're having pizza and you're laughing, and then the next day you have to do a disciplinary meeting with one of the same students you were laughing with the night before. Yeah. And learning that balance of how you build rapport and how you build trust with your student body, and also how you discipline and grow them, because those life lessons that they're learning right within the residence hall or right on the soccer field or basketball court are what they're going to take with them and is what is going to make them successful as they go out of here. So I worked as the director of residence life for the last 3 years, and then in January have just recently transitioned to be the athletic director here at the college. It has been a great start. It's been a fun start. We got to hire a new men's soccer coach with Coach Nick, our previous athletic director, leaving.
Yeah.
We got to have Coach Stu welcome to the team. He is amazing. We're excited to have him. And then obviously I've been able to work with all the other coaches who have just been great as well so far. And Alex, Coach Alex, so who brought me here. We now get to work hand in hand on side too, which is very exciting. So now I'm stepping into that new role, and what's fun is that I get to work a lot in the same capacity because it's the same students that I've been able to build those rapport with and I just love our students. I think we have the best students in the whole world. Maybe I'm biased, but I think we do. So getting to work with them and in those same facets of getting to have fun, building out programs, getting excited about what's coming next for the college within the athletic department, but also, unfortunately, sometimes still disciplinary stuff too.
Yeah.
But that's all part of the leadership role. I can actually share, I couldn't tell you who the quote is by, but one of my favorite quotes is that that leaders, their goal is to produce more leaders. And that is something that I really love and stand by. I think when I look at leadership in the direction that I want to go, is I want to be the leader that steps into the background. People don't even know I'm there, but I'm teaching the lessons. I'm giving students, coaches, whoever, the opportunity to step up and become leaders, because at the end of the day, I want to create a legacy, but that legacy is not me. That legacy is sending students out from Bryan and Stratton College into the workforce, into the athletic world, and having them make an impact, that ripple effect. That is really something that I'm really passionate about and something I'm excited to see in years to come, of how our great students here at the college affect the entire world, really, because we're so international as well. So.
Yeah. No, and I think that's great. I mean, your legacy is what you leave with people, of what you give to others, and what you've given to them, the opportunities that you've given to them, thoughts, ideas, words of encouragement. That's what ripples. That's what continues to go. I mean, if you're all about yourself, then some people might remember who you are, but when you have an effect on people, that pushes them to affect somebody else, and then they affect somebody else, and then that's that ripple effect. I think it's funny that you came into Bryan and Stratton getting recruited by Alex Grigorita, the women's soccer head coach, national champion, and multiple times in the national championship. But you came in to be a left wing. He made you a left back. Now that you're his boss, how do you make him a left back?
I don't think I can. I mean, I've unfortunately had to play him on the soccer field as well. There's video evidence that
All right.
he might have pushed me down.
Okay.
But I also hold that one over his head. But no, it is just fantastic to work alongside him. So I guess I will not be making him a left back anytime soon.
All right.
But maybe I'll have the opportunity one day.
So Alex, and he always jokes around. He's a jokester. Yeah. He likes to mess with me a lot. So that was for you, Alex, from me, with love. But what is leadership? I can say that, and going off of what you said, and I think it's great that you painted that picture and told the story of your road to get to where you are, and the fact that Bryan and Stratton has been a part of your blood. I mean, it's been in you for such a long time that you went overseas, and it drew you back in. Yeah. And not only so, you've been a student athlete, you have worked with the students. Now you're overseeing the student athletes. I mean, this has been a full circle. Did you ever think in your life that you would be at any college or university, let alone the college that you went to, and where you were a student athlete, and now you're the person overseeing the experience of all student athletes at the place where you were a student athlete?
Oh, I mean, I don't think I thought Coach Nick would probably be our athletic director till the dying day of the college. So I don't think I ever thought that I'd have the opportunity, but I am so thankful and so blessed that I do, because the coaches and our athletic staff, we love to say we bleed blue, right? Like, the majority of what we do inside our day,
Yeah.
whether we're at home, whether we're here, we are eating, sleeping, breathing what's next for the college and what's best for our students. So I think that it is just a huge blessing, because I think this is where God has placed me to have the most impact, because
Yeah.
I remember being a student. I remember the highs. I remember the lows. I went to 2 national titles or national championships and did not come home with a ring. So now to be, and I remember those heartbreaking moments, but I also remember all the opportunities that my coaches gave me, that the professors gave me, that obviously staff, the campus director that was here when I was a student was the campus director that hired me. So just remembering the doors that they opened for me and thinking now I get the opportunity to do that for someone else is just huge. So I am incredibly lucky to be able to be there. And I've obviously had some nerves stepping into the role, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So there has been nerves or angst about it, but I just think about, actually in the Bible, it says, don't let anyone despise you because you're a youth, right?
Yeah.
And just really stepping into the role and just thinking it doesn't matter that I'm maybe younger than a traditional athletic director. It doesn't matter whether I'm male or female or whatever. What matters is that I take this role with confidence and with strength and lead others well with empathy, with integrity, and truly doing the best that I can in the ways that I know, and growing and learning so that I continue to lead better.
Yeah, and I think it's, and you talked about don't let, youth be a deterrent, right,
Yeah.
of people. And I started my career in broadcasting at 18, and we were out there, and I was pushing for MU courtside at my university and creating this NCAA Division III men's and women's basketball broadcast and doing it a different way. And I pushed for women's athletics at that point, and that was 2003, November of 2003. And I said, are we doing men's and women's basketball? They said, well, we're definitely going to do men's. And I said, I don't think you heard me. Are we doing men's and women's? Because why would we do one and not the other? And also, to me, it was like, I want as much experience as I can possibly get. So why would I turn away a women's game from a men's game? And there's double headers. So I got women at 5, men at 7. And when they said, well, we're going to do men and we'll think about doing women, I was like, we're doing both. Like, if you want me, I'm here for both. And I did it before it was popular to cover women's athletics. I did it when people thought I was stupid, ridiculous, wasting my time. And now I look, 22 years later, and I say women's athletics is being covered now, but I question, are you covering it because you have to, because it's popular, or are you covering it because you want to? Because if you did it out of want, then back when I did it, when I was ridiculed for doing it, that makes more sense. When you do it after like 10, 12, 40 places are doing it, now it looks like you're just following the leader. So, to me, leadership is stepping out on your own. It's doing things that you believe in. Me at 18 and me right now, I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. My skin has gotten a lot thicker. But who I am as an individual is that same kid. Like that drive, that determination, that I'm going to figure out how to do it. I'm going to, there's so many times where we had to figure out a way to get the cameras to work. If you want to take an old television and play something HD on streaming, like, I'm the guy to try and figure that out and to do that and whatnot. And so, for me, going back to being 18 years old to where I am right now at 39, I don't feel 39 years old. I just celebrated 21 years in broadcasting, and my response on stage at the Wildcat Sports Pub in front of a bunch of people that have been a part of this journey is I feel like I'm 21 years old. I don't feel like I'm 21 in. I feel like I'm 21. I just graduated college. And that fight, that desire, that fervor, that I don't care what people think. Mm-hmm. And in the moments that I do, I fail myself. So to me, it's like, I don't care what people think because I'm not going to be put in a box. If I thought about myself the way that bullies tried to fear me into thinking of myself, and some of those bullies were right up the road for Bryan and Stratton at one of the career places that I had. They were right here in Syracuse, in my hometown. I had a fellow broadcaster lean into me nose to nose and threaten to hit me because I was on the same radio station. There was no reason for it. It was just, it was his territory. And I was encroaching on his territory. And we had a phone conversation, this gentleman and myself, and he told me basically to get in my lane. Like, you're the B team, I'm the A team. Why are you interviewing athletic directors and coaches? That's me. You need to just take my clips and understand where you sit. That person also said to me in a meeting, and I'll never forget this, he said, it's cute that you cover, and Brian and Stratton, I think you're putting everybody in the same wavelength. He said, it's cute that you cover the OCCs, the Oswego's, and the Lemoynes of the world, but when are you going to get to the times and understand that there's only one school to cover, and that's Syracuse? There's no reason to cover these places. Now, this person would never want me to say their name because they try to build relationships with these places, and I don't, because my parents told me a long time ago, hand somebody a shovel and let them dig their own ditch. But the reality to me was, in that moment, I had always been the person of the little guy, right? So, because I know what it's like to be a redheaded stepchild. And when I sat in the room that day and I heard him say those words to me, that these places don't matter, these people don't matter, these student athletes don't matter, these coaches don't matter, do what everybody else is doing and get in line. I stood up, I interrupted him, I said, you want the chair pushed in or out? And I walked out. And I have been walking away from the status quo, the politically correct, that this is the way everybody does it my entire life, to pave a way for people that is built on God, morals, values, belief in yourself. You should not, I mean, if you're watching this right now and you're 40, 50 years old and you haven't gone after your dreams, I'm telling you right now that if God put it in you, he wants it to come out. And I don't think that you should be pigeonholed by age, by what you've chosen, by having children, by being a man or a woman, by being a certain color, by having a certain amount of money, by coming from a certain part of town. I mean, my parents fought for everything that we have. Everything. I come from two blue-collar parents. We could have been poor. We could have been rich. We could have been somewhere in the middle. But my dad went after his dream of being a lawyer. He succeeded, and he retired after 44 years. And he represented the state of New York better than most. My mother had a dream, and this is why I'm talking to you 40, 50-year-olds, whatever you are. My mom had a dream at 18 to be a flight attendant. She achieved that dream at 47. Wow. And so when we talk about leadership, I was led in a household of if you have something that is inside you that God put in there, and that fire burns bright, and every night you could feel it. My dad went after it, my mom went after it, I went after it, and I wanted to be a sports, there's a lot of things I want to do, I barely scratched the surface, but I wanted to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be the source of information. I wanted to be the place that you went to for that clip, that funny moment, that originality, that uniqueness, that story, that person that had a conversation with somebody that trusted them so much that they said so much more than they would say anywhere else. I can proudly say, and I hope that you could say this that are watching, if you can't, then change the narrative, you're still alive. I came from a household where 100% of the people in that house chased their dreams, and we caught them. My dad didn't settle. My mom didn't settle. My mom still works for the airlines. She retired for about 5 minutes. She couldn't do it because she's a people person. And, you know, I went after my dreams, and I was doing things at 18 years old that people don't get at 40, and they were like, stay in your lane. And I remember one time it was halftime at one of our games at Marywood University, and I'm sitting on the bleachers with my co-host, Joe Forgione. Love you, Joe. And we're just sitting there talking, and this ref came up to me, and to the both of us, and he goes, hey. And I looked at Joe, I go, what did we say on the broadcast that he heard? And so I was like, what did we say about the refs? I was like, we're in trouble. And so he said, I just want to let you guys know that I've been watching basketball forever, and my buddies we've been watching basketball 30, 40 years. And when we're downtown in Scranton, PA, we tell them to turn off ESPN and to turn on Marywood University's channel because you guys do a better game. You're funny. We love it. We love watching. We love everything about it. They said, you tell a game, like you do a game better than the professionals at ESPN. So when we're downtown at a bar in Scranton, we would rather turn you guys on because we want to hear you talk about the game than we want to hear ESPN. And I just want you to know, if you don't think anybody's listening, you're making a difference. And I looked at Joe and I was like, that right there, like that's God. That's me saying, is anybody listening? And so what is leadership to me? It's standing in the face of things. I mean, you got a broadcaster that think he owns the city that you grew up in, threatening to hit you, and I didn't move. And now that person sits next to me on press row, and it's wonderful. But I think the beauty of life is, if you go after the things that you want in your life, there will be bullies, there will be naysayers, because you're young, because you're a woman, because I didn't come from the right last name. There's so many reasons why people will tell you you're going to fail. But Sir Isaac Newton was an idiot, right? Einstein was stupid. He was wrong. People that thought that the earth was round were crazy. And now in 2025, people that believe that there's a savior that protects this land, protects this earth, and they're told that guy didn't even exist. So, I mean, I think about, how do I feel when I have to stand up to a bully, and how do I feel when I have to bite my tongue and say, don't yell back at the bully, don't hit back at the bully, just do you and be who you are. If you want to defeat naysayers, adversaries, bullies, and hate in your life, be exactly who you are unapologetically and serve God. That is better than any punch or any word can ever do, in my opinion. And so a quick reminder to me of leadership, they say in the Bible there's nothing promised of this world is going to be great. If anything, God literally says to you, if you follow my son and you're persecuted, you're in the right direction. So when you feel like you're doing everything right, when you're not swearing, you're not lying, you're not cheating, you're not stealing, you're giving every piece that you have of your heart, your body, your mind, your soul, and you're just putting it out there, and you're like, why am I getting doors slammed in my face? Why are people hating me? Why am I being bullied? To me, that's also should be for you the realization that you're following Jesus Christ. Because on the path to the cross, the only promise that we have besides eternal life is you will be persecuted for doing the right thing. And so my peace that I have in my life is, if I can consult my conscience and find that I've done nothing wrong and have not deliberately tried to hurt someone, but I'm being treated as a criminal, well, I look at the one person of perfection that was treated as the world's biggest criminal and was also the world's savior. So there is peace in knowing if someone's yelling at you, fighting with you, bullying you, pushing you down, saying bad things about you in public or on social media behind your back, are you being stoned? Do you have a crown of thorns? Have you been nailed to a cross? Have you been left in the sun to bake and die? Have you been stabbed? Have you been beaten? Have you been whipped? Have you been spit on? Well, most of us can say no. So it is a unifier of mind, body, soul, and spirit when in the moments of strife where you feel like you're doing the right thing and you're met with fear tactics to try and make you stop. There's the great humbler of, did Jesus stop when the devil stood by his side looking at him saying, look at you on this cross right now. Look at how much they hate you. Did he stop walking? So if the devil can't make Jesus stop, I don't think a broadcaster leaning into my face is going to make me stop either. So I would say leadership comes from standing in the face of fear and realizing that fear is the devil's lie. It's the last-ditch effort that the devil has. And to everybody watching and listening, think of life like turning down an alleyway. The devil meets you in that alleyway and says, if you come down here, something bad's going to happen. But if you look over his shoulder, God is standing there holding a gift box. And all you have to do is walk by the devil into that alleyway. And so much of us are afraid of the devil, and we're afraid of the alley, and we're afraid of what that could mean and what we don't know, when in actuality, if you come on the other side of the fear, God is always on the other side of fear. And I think most people settle in relationships and friendships and where they live and what they do for a living out of fear. And I think if you can meet fear with, I have more desire in my heart to do this than the fear I have. I'm not saying fear is absent, but you have to have more fight in you than the fear that meets you, in my opinion.
I think you're very much right. I mean, I think where growth comes from is taking those steps out, because if we sit where we are and we get comfortable, there's not going to be that growth. The growth comes out of taking the steps, being scared, and I'm trying to think. I will not be able to quote any of my sources of where I get good quotes from, but courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing something with, like, stepping out with the fear and doing it anyways. Yeah. And I think that's such a good, I butchered the quote, but I think that's such a good.
One of my favorites as well.
You could say it better
courage
than me.
Courage is not the absence of fear. It's saddling up anyway. It's like, it's knowing that the fear is there, but deciding that you're going to go beyond it.
Yeah, because I think if you only do the things that you're comfortable with, there's, it'll be comfortable, but it won't maybe be aspiring to chase after your dreams or taking that leap of faith or whatever it might be. So I'm absolutely on the same page as you.
Could you imagine what your life or my life would look like if we listened to a bully, a naysayer, or someone that created fear? Could you imagine how, well, we wouldn't be here talking, I could say that much, but I mean, what would your life have looked like if you listened to somebody scare you into something?
I wouldn't be very far. I don't even know where I would be, because obviously normally you face those things pretty young too, and they never go away. But if you start to listen to those voices when you are small, you would probably not get very far at all. And that's, again, pointing back to leadership, where I find it so important, because you as a leader have the opportunity, and leader does not always come with the title of leader, right? It doesn't mean you're an athletic director always. It doesn't mean you're a director of residence life. It doesn't mean you're in a government, office. It doesn't, leadership can come anywhere that you are when you're inspiring others, and when people can trust you, and when they're looking at you and saying, well, I want to be more like them. Yeah. And I think so everyone has the opportunity to be a leader. And in that, by you stepping out and taking those leaps of faith, or not listening to the bullies that have said, you don't deserve it, you're not going to make it, whatever those negative words are, I think if you can step forward and do that, more people will fall behind you and continue to do that, because you inspired people. Like, the truly inspiring people are the ones that didn't listen to what others had to say.
Well, and that's, I mean, when I celebrated 21 years, and all those people in the room that I looked at on stage, and then, because my buddy Isaac Alford spoke, and he's a brother to me. Anybody that knows, I don't call him a friend, he's my brother. And we went and saw Captain America last night. Shout out to Isaac, what's up? And so he spoke, MON-FRI spoke, who worked for me as an intern, Division I women's basketball player, incredible person. I met her when she was 12. I hired her based on the human being that she is. And she wanted to broadcast, but she was afraid to speak in public. And not only did she change, like, that was, when people are like, what's one of the biggest moments in your life, biggest wins in your life? It was Amani coming to me, being afraid to speak, but wanting to do it as a profession. And then we created a show together called Free Talks, and she sat with me in my studio on the microphone, and like, everything that I knew about her and more came out. And then she spoke at my events, and she got up there and said, she's like, I don't like public speaking. And she got up there and she spoke. She's like, when you asked her to do this, it was an honor. She made me cry. But Amani, seeing her excel, seeing Isaac excel, my parents spoke. And then I got to speak last. And Danny Tome spoke from the Wildcat as well. And he said that I didn't tell him he was speaking, which is a lie. So, but I got up there and I thought about my grandfathers, my grandmothers, my dogs that passed. I thought about everybody that wasn't there. I thought about everybody that I was looking at. And I looked around the room, and and nobody sees it because we recorded everything, and you just see the people on stage. So I'm looking around this room of people that, like, this woman, Roseanne Martinetti, is one of the reasons why I went to Marywood University. She opened my door, career services. She opened my door to doing the Disney College program. Jerry Hart, who's watching and listening right now, head security guard at Marywood. He was my first supporter outside of my family at the beginning of my career in 2003. He's been supporting me, literally watches every day that he can. He watches in and out of cancer treatment. Like, seeing those people, seeing Mr. D, my Feeney, growing up, Tom DeSantis, my principal, obviously seeing my parents there, seeing Rob Drummond, who is, I mean, he's a legend in Syracuse, and, you know, an NFL player, a CFL player, a championship guy, one of the only 2 undefeated teams at Syracuse, 1987. He was a part of that. He's a brother to me. I mean, I would take a bullet for him without even questioning where the bullet was coming from or why. And so you see all these countless people in this room, the DeMillo family, that was like, because of how you interviewed our daughter and the stories that you told, we want you to come to our house for dinner and we want to just celebrate. And I was like, I mean, I'm just doing my job. So, I mean, those moments and all those people that came there, the coaches that came there, Casey Brown came after they had won so the CBA played CNS in football. Both of those coaches had just been on separate sidelines in the dome going after each other, and then they both sat at the same table at my event. Like, that entire room, and I said this, I was like, this is when you talk about the ripple effect. I thought that every time I faced a bully, every time I faced a hater, every time I faced negativity, every time I faced you're too young, you're too this, you're too that, every single moment of my life that I thought it was just me and God, I looked around that room, and I'm going to try not to get choked up when I say this. I looked at these people, and I said, God was building an army around me, and I never did a single thing by myself. Like, I thought it was God and I, and that was it, and I was fine with that. And what I realized was looking around that room of people is that he was building up my family. And when I go out and I do Wake Up Call, I do it with that room. I do it with everybody that couldn't be in that room. I do it with everybody up in heaven. Like, I thought it was me and God, and it's this just growing, amazing group of people that every single one of them, if you took everyone out and you kept Roseanne, my life is better. If you took everybody out and Mr. D, my life is better. If you take everybody out and Maggie, Amy, like James, it's Brendan. These people have commanded out of me and reminded me who I am. And I just, like, it didn't make me feel like, oh, I'm big and I'm awesome. It made me sit there and go, holy God. Like, I am outrageously humbled by the fact, shame on me for thinking I did it by myself. Like, I always had warriors on the battlefield fighting for me in rooms that I wasn't in. And I won't forget that. And we just got started, so.
And I think what an opportunity is to now be that for somebody else, the way you said about Amani, correct?
Yeah.
That when she looks back at this, you know, in her 21 years, she's going to be able to see you that you were in her corner as well, and getting to be that next ripple in her story as well, I think is just so cool. And I would say that's one of my biggest goals as athletic director here, but in every role I've done here, I've just thought, if I can impact one student's story, that's what matters, because I just think that's got to be the coolest thing in the world, you know, to watch someone else excel and just be like, and I got to be a part, whether it's this big or maybe playing a massive role.
Yeah.
And that's something, the words in Coach Clay, our assistant athletic director, he'll be like, I hear this so much from her, but like the two like phrases that have stuck in my head, like as I was entering this role, it's like pursue excellence and create legacy. Those are the two things that continue to bounce back and forth in my brain, and they just continue to come up. So I'm probably going to have to put them on a wall somewhere, because if not, they're going to stay in my mind forever. But I love the pursue excellence portion, because excellence is not one specific goal. And for our athletes, for myself, for our coaching staff, for our entire school, pursuing excellence might be in 30 different facets for everybody else. And once you achieve that goal, what's next.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a national title. It's building leaders. It's not just building leaders. It's building good students. It's building good people. And so thinking that, and in our pursuit of excellence as a college and as an athletic program, then comes the legacy, right? Because it's so much bigger than one person.
Yeah.
So Johnny Zamore, right? He's one of my resident assistants, so I've got to work with him over the past 3 years. He's our one of our men's soccer players. He was a captain this past year. And so now I've got to work with him in about every facet of the school.
Yeah.
And he's off now to go play a game today. And we're just so excited. A big game. Would you like to talk a little bit about it before I continue my story?
So Coach Stuart Flaherty, him and I have spent a lot of time talking. I was talking to him on the way in today to Bryan and Stratton, and I said to him, you know what, I in the middle of the conversation, because I feel like when you feel something, you should say it, and I said, I love our conversations because they make me think, they challenge me, they go so deep, they're so multi-layered, and I feel like we're always solving a problem. And he said the feeling is the same. And he was talking to me about what he's doing with Johnny, because him and I were supposed to watch a soccer game together tomorrow morning, and he said, I can't, and I'll tell you why. I'm on my way to Chicago, and so I'm going to set it up, but you get to knock it down, because Bryan and Stratton legacy here, which Johnny is a part of this greater fabric of the legacy, and he is essentially stitching in this piece of the quilt. I want you to say where he is right now.
He will be playing for a USL2 team. He's actually going to be able to play right alongside them, not just a trial, in one of their preseason games, and we are just so excited for him. And we're cheering him on from here back home. I know you guys are doing you and Stu are working together so that you guys will also be able to see everything Johnny's doing.
Stu, if you're watching and listen, well, you're driving, so if you're listening.
Please just be listening.
If you're listening, I know how much you like my face, but if you're listening, then I am very excited to say that as soon as he told me this, he said, you know, this is a great story to tell and this and that, and this is what I'm building. And I said, well, why don't we do an interview with you and Johnny from there?
Yeah.
Because that is going to tell the story while it's happening physically on site. So he will have pictures, he will have video, and I have asked Stu if him and Johnny will oblige me to do a little Wake Up Call Bobcat Buzz special, because he's playing in this match within the franchise of the Chicago Fire that they're going up against. So within that world and the facility that, you know, Coach Stewie's like, check out what the Chicago Fire are doing and the facility that they have. Some of these MLS teams are just like down in Miami, the work that Miami's doing, and obviously, you know, they brought in Messi, so many people excited about that in recent history. But what Miami's doing, what Chicago's doing, I used to go to Red Bull games when they were at Old Giant Stadium, then they built Red Bull Park. There was 12 MLS teams. I tell this story all the time. I blinked. I turned away from the MLS for a second. I turned back. There's 20 teams. Yeah. Like, people that don't understand this, they have almost as many teams as the NBA. So crazy, awesome, beautiful. But Johnny Zamore, who ushered in the men's soccer season last season with me on the field at practice as one of the captains, is now having the opportunity to put himself in a professional atmosphere and to show the MLS, to show the entire country, and to show the world what he could do, because this is obviously on film now. So Johnny, go out there, do what we know you're capable of, do what you know you're capable of, and I pray that this opens more doors and more opportunities, and not just for you, but for all of the men and women here at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, because I hope they ask where you're from and what, you know, where you learn certain things. You say Bryan and Stratton, and I hope that helps Coach Stu and Coach Gregory to get more faces and more names out there and get more opportunities to have. And this, this isn't a workout. This is a game. So it's a match.
And as we were talking about Johnny Zamore, he's one of our graduating seniors. Yeah. So we've got to see him grow as a resident assistant, right? His his ability to, he's just a natural born leader. And Johnny, we are so proud of you. But because he doesn't only just lead by title, right? He is one of those guys that leads because people want to follow, you know, and he empowers people. I mean, his smile, if you haven't met Johnny Zamore, radiates and lights up a room, and people want to know more about him, and his work ethic is astounding. And he's one of those students that I want to see that legacy created out of, because we as a college have given him what we can give him. And Johnny and I have had long talks from the residence hall to about soccer to about everything, right? And now it's his turn as he graduates out of the program and as he gets out into the world, wherever the world takes him. And he's going to be that next leader that creates another ripple. And he's one of those students I was just happy to be a part of and get to watch his legacy. And I think it will be one that creates some waves out in the universe.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell a story about Johnny after we take a fast break. So, top dog of the week is coming up. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And, of course, our topic here with Brooke Paro, the new athletics director at Bryan and Stratton College, Syracuse. What is leadership? And, yeah, if you're wondering if I did it, I just Seacrested you. I told you that we are going to tell a story about Johnny right after this. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servamation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and we are also here on site, on location for a Bobcat Takeover. I'm on campus at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, and I guess I was right when I said we were locked in this room. So, so I am here with Brooke Paro, the new athletics director, and she has joined me for the annoying moment of the week for lead. She's now going to join me for the top dog of the week, and then we're going to put each other on the hot seat in rapid fire. We're going to have some fun with that. And so, top dog of the week can only be done in one way here, and that is from Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the only place to bring your dog for short and long-term care. It's in East Syracuse, not that far from campus here at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. It's the only place I bring Lily, and I can never name the top dog of the week without Lily's help, so take it away, girl. Top dog of the week. You get to do the first one. Miss Paro, who is it?
My top dog of the week is our assistant athletic director and head men's soccer coach, Clay.
Boo! Just kidding.
Clay, we love you. But Clay was simultaneously, as I became the athletic director, was promoted as well to assistant athletic director. So we have taken this new role head on together, and I couldn't think of anyone else who deserved it better. Clay has jumped into leadership. He has been amazing. As we stepped into leadership, unfortunately, our women's basketball coach was injured and had to step out for a little bit, and we miss him dearly. We can't wait to have him back. However, Clay has taken a leading role in making sure that the women's basketball team has what they need, whether it's scheduling games, whether it's scheduling buses, any refs, anything of the sort. Clay has been on top of it and has been an absolute champion for the women's team as well. And on top of that, he is absolutely crushing the game when it comes to our men's basketball team as well. He has a game today, so they will be playing at Tip Hill later on this afternoon. But Clay has just been absolutely awesome. I am very blessed to be working alongside him. We are very eager. The first day that we were both knowing that we were going to be the team together, we're like, we can't wait to talk vision. We can't wait to talk mission. We can't wait to talk about where we want to take this school next. Yeah. And he has just jumped in full force and talk about leadership. He is a great example of that. So I want to give our top dog of the week to Coach Clay.
Well, Clay, you've gotten it from me in the past, and now you got it from Brooke. So he's gotten it more than once here. Shout out to Clay. I know he's watching and listening, so I want to show him some love. I also do want to shout out from Coach Stu, the game that Johnny Zamora is going to be in, to know the specifics of it all here. USL Championship Team Indy 11 versus the MLS franchise Chicago Fire Reserves. So for those of you that know the MLS, the reserves of that team for the Chicago Fire are going to be going up against Johnny. So very excited about that. My top dog of the week, there's a lot of places I could go with this. I would say it's tough. It's tough for me to pick one. I would probably say my top dog of the week would be, honestly, there's people I've named already, so I'm not going to name them all. I've talked about Coach Stu. I've talked about Clay. I've talked about Tay. Talked about Griggs as well. Nick in the past, too, for the work that he's done. I mean, I would have to say in the moment, and I wanted to make myself do this in the moment, there's a lot of people that I can name for this, and I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying this just because you're here, but I'm going to say you, Brooke. I'm going to call you the top dog of the week. I'm going to tell you why. So I've been working with Brian and Stratton for over 3 years, and I don't know if you know this, but when I tried to come into Brian and Stratton, it was all Clay. He said, I think there might be an opportunity. I want you to talk to us. And I said, all right, you let me know. I'd be happy to. He said, would what you do for Lemoyne work here? I said, it can work at any college or university. It can work at high schools too. And the plan was built so that I could bring it anywhere as a template and then customize it toward what somebody needs. And so he said that to me. I came in, I did the meeting. They had been working with somebody else. And Clay called me up and he said, they want to split it in half. They want to give half to the person they're working with. They want to give half to you. I said, Clay, with all due respect, I don't do anything half in my life. I either give 100% or I give 0. So you tell Nick and the team to give it to that guy. I said, if they want to split it in half, I don't do half. They either work with me or they work with him. So with all respect, if they want to give it to him, give it to him. Now, I don't think that guy knows that. He was another person in my world of broadcasting that has said some really heinous things, and I don't know why, because we haven't interacted that much. But he doesn't know this, and if he's watching and listening now, he does. I told Brian and Stratton, give all the money to him. Give everything to him. And Clay can vouch for that. And he called me back, and he said, when you said that, when you said, I would rather take nothing than take half, because if I'm going to give, I give everything, and everything in my world that I do and I put myself toward is 100%. He said that hit us some kind of way, it hit Nick some kind of way, and that's why we want to work with you. So, loving this college and the student athletes and the coaches, and then getting to sit and talk with you, you're the type of person where you think about things and you think of other people. Even planning this out, that I've been under the weather with the snow and everything, it wasn't a simple text message. You called me up and you're like, let's think of all of our avenues. I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel good. I want you to be healthy. Does this work for you? I want to do it this way because I feel like this is the best way for us to do it. Like, you're not half doing things. To me, this is an interview that we're going to pull off no matter what. But you wanted everything to be right. You wanted me to know where you were at. You wanted to see where I was at. You wanted us to come together in the best fashion possible. And I was like, who goes to these lengths to do something that to so many people is like an afterthought. And if you're willing to call me last night, this morning, work with me, think about things, make sure that I'm good, think about all the avenues and ways to get it done. If you're going to do that with me, with something that almost nobody does that with me, what are you going to do when an actual crisis hits, when people really need you for something big, if you treat the small things like big things? So I'm going to call you the top dog of the week because, one, you lead with God, and the world needs that. They needed it, they need it, they will need it, we're always going to need it. So you lead with God, you don't hide it. That's number one. Number two is that you have welcomed me not as someone who worked with a prior regime, but as someone who is the same person that's been here, and now I want to know what you do, and I want to, and we met, and you said, I want to work with you, I want to know everything you do for us, why you do it, things that are here, what you think we can do better, what my thoughts are, what your thoughts are, to utilize this to the best of our ability. So to me, there's been so much change in the collegiate world. I felt it personally. But when I sat down with you, it was like, one of the first things you said to me, you said, I did my research of you, I went on your story, I saw your God stuff. I was like, yes, he's a believer. So to know that we have similar morals and values, to know that you believe in God, and to know that you care so deeply about making sure that when you're with someone, you're present and they're valued. I feel like you and I are going to work really well together because of the way that we treat people. So I'm going to name you my top dog of the week because I have been with this school for 3 years, a little over 3 years now. But in my opinion, you and I are going to be talking about way, way down the road and all the things that we've done. So I'm very excited about the fact that I think we will only become more of an asset to each other as we move forward.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that.
So you're my
Thank
top
you.
dog of the week.
Thank you very much.
And Clay, whatever. We like you too, Clay. You're great. You're wonderful. I always say nice things about him, and he says nice things about me, but I am going to out Clay right now on something. 21-year anniversary, for those that couldn't make it, he had a game. I said, it's okay that you can't make it. Do you mind sending in a video that I can share? Because we did like a video for people that can't be there, and he's yet to send me in his video.
Clay.
So.
Oh my gosh.
So hold on 1 second. Can I do this right now? I don't know what he's. So Clay is obviously preparing for the game tonight, correct? But I'm gonna see if I can FaceTime Clay. So he might be watching and listening. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I know he was listening before, but if he doesn't answer me, oh, here he is. Hello, sir. How are you? What's going on? You are live on the show right now. Good. So we just got to campus. We decided, now Brooke named you the top dog of the week. I've done that in the past. So I decided to not give you any more accolades because you have enough from me right now. But you have not shot your 21-year celebration video for me, so I'm showing America what it looks like to be guilty live.
Well, I'm glad you called right now because I was waiting to get a fresh haircut.
Okay.
So I could shoot the video for you, looking all cleaned up and making it, a nice little video for you. But I just got my haircut.
Okay.
And that was my next stop was to come shoot that video with the backdrop.
Is that a lie or is that the truth?
It's a truth. I'm a man of truth. You know that.
Look at that. So obviously I'm messing with him right now because I love Clay. And like I said, Clay, you're the reason why I even have this partnership with Brian and Stratton. So with all the jokes that we just told to the world of Clay, this is his face. Go support his team. And they are the winningest men's basketball team in Central New York at the moment. So maybe y'all should pay attention to Brian and Stratton College of Syracuse senior day on Sunday as well. So I had to mess with you a little bit, buddy, but you know I love you dearly.
I got you. I promise.
All right. Well, get inside and get to work, okay?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, brother. Your boss is here. So.
Glad you're at work, Clay. Thank you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
See you soon.
See ya. So yeah, he's a great guy.
We love Clay.
Yeah,
He's
I had to mess with him because, in all honesty, I have nothing but hand on the Bible praises to say about him. He has treated me like a valued human being. He's treated me in such a way where he pulled me out of holes he didn't even know I was in. So.
Something else I will say about Clay, I know we joke that he's not in work. He's just got to work.
Yeah.
We actually had, due to the weather, a remote day today. So all coaches are actually supposed to be working from home. And Clay, because he is so determined why he deserves to be a top dog, is actually, I texted him this morning and I said, OCC shut, we're remote. What do you want to do with this game we have today against Fisher College? And he was like, I absolutely want to have this game. They're already in Syracuse. I've called facilities, and he was set to go from first thing in the morning. He was ready to go, and that's one of the reasons I think the men have the record that they have, is because of the discipline, not only of every player on the field, but also the discipline of Clay and the passion that he gives to the team. And doesn't matter, he's like a mailman. Rain, wind, snow, sleet, whatever. Yeah. As long as it's safe for our students, Clay wants to have those games. So very thankful for him on the team. Yeah,
he is a wonderful human being, and the Sherman family, the Gagan family have treated me, as talk about ripple effect, the love and support that I get from all of you on every show has meant the world to me. So thank you to that. Kevin Gagan is notorious for watching my broadcasts from the air. Like I can actually say Wake Up Call has broadcasted live from 30,000 feet because of Kevin Gagan. So thank you to all, and Clay, when you watch this back, you know that I was kidding. So you can kid with the ones you love, right? And I could proudly say, and we both say this to each other, I love Clay. So it's not, I don't say the 4-letter L word unless I mean it. So I have told him for many years that I love him on and off the court. And he's been a great friend to me, and to me, he's been an angel that's kind of took my hand and guided me through a lot of storms. So for those of you that don't know Clay Gagan Sherman, he's a great coach, he's a great leader, he's a great worker, but he is an undeniably great person, and he's one of those people in the world that will actually do the things he says he's going to do. So
yeah, thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Clay. And Brooke is my top dog of the week, not Clay. So
emphasize, not Clay.
We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We will be back because it is time for Brooke and I to put each other on the hot seat in rapid fire. She brought notes to the building. I did not. So I'm gonna do my best to be ready for whatever you have for me. Mine are all in my noggin.
They're a good mix.
They're a good mix. Okay.
Serious fun. I want to know it all.
Okay, so we're going to learn more about Brooke, and apparently going to learn more about me right after this fast break from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, on-site, on campus, for a Bobcat takeover. Bobcats leave tracks in the snow, but they continue to run through it. They don't let snow keep them down. They don't let anything keep them down. So the Bobcats, that growl that they have here is very much alive. I heard that Bobcats, they don't roar. They have like a different way that they do things. That's why I didn't say roar. I did my research. So shout out to the Bobcats. Shout out to how loud you have been in the community, beyond this community. And we will be back from campus to tell more of the story of Brooke Paro and the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse that are national champions in men's and women's soccer, national tournament contenders, and hopefully this year even more, with men's and women's basketball, and have done an absolute tremendous job when it comes to building up the student athlete and job placement. Some of the programs here at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse have an almost 100% job placement, which has been absolutely incredible in today's market world. So many great things at Bryan and Stratton, and it's never too late to get your degree. We will be back right after this from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop right down the road from Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. You can go there Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. They just got a bunch of graded cards in from PSA, so you can come through look through their vast array of different cards that they have inside of their display cases. So from graded cards to singles to having every NFL, MLB, and NBA team on site, on location, GG Cards and Breaks goes the extra mile. They have all the supplies you need for your cards to make them look nice, to keep them safe and protected, to travel with them. It literally is the place where I get to be a big kid, you get to be a big kid. So bring your kids and then bring yourself in that kid spirit to GG Cards and Breaks. It's like when you have packs and boxes to open, it's literally like Christmas morning any day of the week because you could just bring it home to somebody that you love. Perfect for Valentine's Day, and that's something my mom always did growing up. She'd get me a pack or two of cards and put them in my Valentine's Day bag. So go do something nice for the ones that you love all throughout the year, including on the holidays. GG Cards and Breaks, some of the best people I know in the community, and it starts with Josh and Anthony. That is 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. And, of course, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, I am inside the wonderful campus of Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. I love this. I will say, like, whenever I go and I do a live event somewhere, nothing looks as, like, clean and crisp as when we're here. It always looks the part. So I got to give it up to whoever makes all of these that I need to call for a wake-up call one. But, I mean, honestly, and I'm saying this because I mean it, and you got this all set up today and had everything ready to go, and you were picking things up and moving things around and moving tables when we talked this morning.
I picked this table up myself. It is heavier than it looks.
But I want to give you credit, Brooke, because you and your team here at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, you always roll out the blue carpet for me. So I want to say thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome. And I have to shout out our maintenance and facility guys on campus are awesome. They will work. If you ask them, hey, I need this, they are so quick to help, and they are amazing too. And actually, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
That will lead me into, so the actual decision that made me choose Bryan and Stratton College, and I have to do credit. Well, one, I have to give credit. So Ricky, one of our facility guys, he helped me carry this up yesterday, right before our men's had one of their preseason trainings. But so Ricky is awesome. Wally, he's our head of facilities. He's amazing. But Wally, because Bryan Stratton is great for promoting internally. I'm very proud of that. I think they build strong leaders and then they let them fly. So Wally, back in the day when I was a student, was one of the facility guys. Now he's the lead of the facility team. But way back in 2017, I was doing a campus tour, and one of our still current to this day admissions rep, Patty, she's amazing. She was giving me a tour around the campus, and we're coming up this stairwell right here, and I think Wally was working on something, and there was just a cord or like a piece of piping or whatever, and it was stuck on the door that he was trying to work around. And Patty, our admissions rep, she looked at me, she goes, like, please excuse me for like 2 seconds, I just need to help him quick. And like just helped him, because it was just kind of a two-man, we were running out of hands job. And she stopped and helped him in the middle of a campus tour. And that just has stuck with me to this day. Like, I can literally envision it in my head, just thinking, like, wow, she stopped, her attention was given to me, she excused herself to help someone in the facilities fix something. And that stood out, because I was like, those are the type of people I want to surround myself with, people that are willing to step out of their way to help somebody else. And I think there has been no more true thing about the college. That was my first impression on my very first campus tour, but it has continued to hold true over the last, 8 years that I've been here, of people being willing to help and go the extra mile even when they don't need to. So, and Patty knows this, I've told the story a bunch of times, but Patty, I'm still thankful for you because you gave me the best first impression.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, the broadcaster Joe Forgione that I mentioned that I asked to be my partner on MU Courtside in college, I thought I wanted to work with him in the sense of, I was like, I think I like this guy's personality. I've talked to him. There's things I like about him. He knows about sports. Seems like a good guy. Seems like he has good morals. The thing that made me say I'm not going to allow him to say no is that him and I were talking, and I was trying to get him to do the show, and I was like, come on, man, like, I'd love for you to just come out and give it a shot. I really think you would like it. And similar to your story, this girl had an L cart, and we were in Regina Hall at Marywood University. She came around the corner, and one of the boxes dropped off of her thing, and she was moving her stuff. And he said, while we were talking, he got up and didn't even say anything to me, got up in the middle of the conversation, walked out of where we were talking, and went over to her, picked up the box, put it on there, and then helped her bring it all the way down the hallway to make sure she had it. And he walked over to me and goes, I'm sorry about that. And I said, and that's why I want to work with you.
That's awesome.
That's why. I was like, take everything else away. That's why. And I still remember that to this day, Joseph. So, love Joe.
I know. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why they say you never realize who's paying attention, you never realize who's watching, but it's how you treat people. That, what did I say, at the end of your life, you can't take any money, any awards, any accolades, any Twitter followers, can't take any of that with you. The only thing that you could take with you is your soul, which is your currency. It's how you treated yourself and how you treated others. And when God downloads your soul into the computer of life and you have to watch your story back, do you think you should get into heaven? So, just remember how you treat people matters. Every day, all the time. Now, with that being said, remember how you treat people matters. Because you get to question me. So it is rapid fire time. This is a great way for you to get to know the new athletics director here at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, Brooke Paro, and to get to know me. I have nothing written down. I will do it off of the old noggin and my heart. Brooke, on the other hand, has gone and she's called my elementary teachers. She's called my former principals, my parents, and yeah, she's got all the dirt on me apparently.
I said I was gonna take out a scroll and just
I love it.
have it roll out. So
Let it
I
go.
wanted to ask you a mix of questions because I
Okay.
wanted to get both serious questions because I think that's how you learn and you grow is by asking good questions. But then I also wanted to know some funny ones and some that I will take very seriously. So
Okay.
do you want a fun one or a hard one first?
Whatever you want.
All right. First one, because I think this is really important and I
Okay.
want to pick your brain on this. What is the best piece of advice you've ever gotten and then why?
So there's a lot of different things that I could go to, but I'm going to go to G Mama, best person I know in my life. She's up in heaven. Love you and I miss you. You know that. And so there's a lot of things that she said to me. And one of them, so when you walk into my bedroom, there's a cross on the right side, and on the left side, there's the song she used to sing me, I love you a bushel and a peck. And so, and then she would say afterwards, she wouldn't say a squeeze around the neck, she would say, and squeeze! And she'd look at me like that, like all animated. So when I would say squeeze, she was like, no, you have to say it like I have to say it right. You have to say squeeze. So, so teaching me I love you a bushel and a peck and a squeeze around the neck. Never be afraid to love and never be afraid to love completely, truly, unconditionally, and with everything you got.
Love that.
Another piece of advice that she gave me, and it's funny, but it's real. If she would say, like, be who I know you are, be the best you can be, and if people still don't like you, she'd lean in and she'd go, piss on them. And she's like, and if they can't take that, tell them to go take a blank for themselves. And what I took from that was be yourself, be unapologetically you, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, just go out there and face every storm. And so she would always tell me, keep your nose clean. And so her advice resonates all the time. And then I would say it's a multi-answer. From my dad, he wrote me a letter when I went on a retreat. It was called the Search Retreat, and I went on it as a student, and I went on it as a leader. And he wrote me a letter. It was the first time my dad had ever like really written something to me. And he said, what you got from your mother is your gift to gab. You could talk to anybody. You can create friends. You can walk into a room full of strangers, walk out with friends. But he said, what you got from me is being fearless. And he said, and I asked my dad last night, we were having dinner, and I said, Pop, for you, what do you love the most about Grandpa? What's the thing about Grandpa that stuck out to you the most? And he said he had more of an impact on people's lives than he thought he did. I asked him about a lot of different things, and I said, what is it about, and then I said, what is it about you that sticks out? And my dad said, I think people don't know what to expect from me. And then I said, what about me? And he said, your determination, your guts. He said, could I have started my own business? Probably, but he said, I never had the guts to do what you did and the way that you did it. Like, he's like, I never, ever in my life would have thought that, like, I could go do that. So I would say fearlessness from my father. My mother always taught me something that rings true to this day. When I said, Mom, I can't figure out that if you're nice to somebody, why are they mean to you? And she said, pay attention. Like, you will find in life that the people that treat you poorly and you can't understand why, you will always have it come back to you that person will treat somebody else like that, and you realize that it's them, not you. Yeah. So my mom has taught me in my life, like, be nice to everybody, be good to everybody, and if they're mean to you, understand it has nothing to do with you. And her and my dad have really pushed with me to this day, why do you care what other people think of you? So I would have to credit all of them for their advice. But yeah, definitely I love you a bushel and a peck. Like, love the world with everything you got. My grandmother's the reason why I still believe that there is a woman out there for me. Because this world is, dating doesn't seem to be very kind on the man who knows who he is, who isn't easily manipulated. and isn't led by the wrong things. So I find in dating now, if I can't be manipulated, if I've fixed myself, if I've been honest with myself with when I've been wrong, and if I come to a woman fully put together and not broken into pieces that she can put together, I feel like it's like it turns a lot of people away when you do the work. And I also feel like believing in God has made women disinterested in me. So I think she's out there, but it's been really hard to find because I don't know if today's world wants a man to be strong and to have already figured himself out. I feel like the world wants to kind of figure people out, men and women. So when you approach dating, like, I know who I am, I know where I'm wrong, and I'm not self-loathing, I'm like self-responsible. I think the dating world is not as welcoming to somebody who cannot be easily manipulated.
Well, and I think it goes outside the dating world too, because I think even being strong, being confident, knowing where you're going, being willing to take accountability for those mistakes is those people, I think people look at either two ways. If your goal is to be that be similar to that person and take leader, right? They're a leader in essence, correct? So they're either inspiring or I think they're incredibly intimidating.
Yeah, they're a threat.
And I think as I've matured over the years, it has thankfully situations. And as I've grown and matured, those people have become the most inspiring people to me because, and my husband being one of them, Nick is strong, he's courageous, he is braver than I will probably ever be, and he's a great inspiration to me, but he's also intimidating. And when we had started talking early on, I just remember like having to swallow those, like that pride almost in a sense, and go, you know what, you're intimidating because you're strong, and just go, that's your greatest asset and your greatest gift. And it's the same in the business world. Our market director here, Mary Hawkins, she is an awesome and inspiring leader, and I'm very fortunate to work underneath her. She's amazing, but she knows exactly where she's going, and she's great. She has foresight. She's ready to go. But if you're not ready for it, it could be a little scary. You gotta get on the boat. So. Yeah,
I mean that's something I've realized in life. Like when somebody knows who they, because I feel that from people. When you sit across from somebody that knows exactly who they are and nobody's going to stop them, that terrifies people. Because what do they say? When you wonder why people don't like you, you have to understand that sometimes your spirit, I want to say this right, sometimes your spirit aggravates their demons. And when you think of life that way, when you're like, why are people so hateful to someone who's just, like, when people go out and get theirs and do it the right way, I love it. You know, like being a single man and always wanting to have a family and to have that in my life, when I see my friends meet amazing men and women and they get married and they have children, I'm not jealous. I'm like extremely happy to be a part of their life. I want to be at the wedding. I want to be at events. I want to be at the kid's birthday party. I want to be a godfather. Like, I don't see other people's success as intimidating. I think it's only intimidating when it's a self-reflection of the fact that you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Actually, can I share one of my best pieces of advice? Because you basically just said it, and that's really funny. So, I was listening to a podcast years ago.
WakeUpCall. So, no, go ahead.
It might have been that one, actually, now that I think. No. But, and one of the things that the woman giving the podcast had said was, if you can learn to celebrate people, you will always be celebrating. Because if you can only celebrate your own successes, then your life is going to be so empty. Because obviously, life is full of successes, failures, a mixed bag, right? But when you can learn to celebrate those around you and their successes, your life will be amazing because you'll constantly be celebrating. Because there's got to be someone in your life that's doing something, that's making way, that has a new baby, a new job, a new dream, whatever it is. And to be able to celebrate alongside those people just fills your life with so much joy.
Yeah. So I get to ask you a question now. My question back to you is, what have you considered the biggest threat in your life?
Ooh, biggest threat.
Biggest threat.
I mean, I would probably say myself and my own self-doubts. That's what
Okay.
I would say, because as much as I can also be a big asset to myself or a big advocate, I think those self-doubts are your biggest threats, because it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say. But if your internal voice gets too loud and you start to listen to yourself, because you're your own worst enemy at times as well,
Yeah.
I think that can ultimately be the biggest threat, because even going for this position and saying to Mary, I am interested, I want this, I think I could excel at this.
Yeah.
There was also a side of me saying, you're not ready, what do you know? And just all those self-doubt things that are coming into play. And thankfully having that army of people around you to remind you who you are and what you are called here to do, I think is crucial.
Yeah.
But if you let those voices get loud and you don't have a good surrounding of people to remind you who you really are, I think that noise can be deafening and can really cripple your ability to succeed.
What did Nick say?
Nick was like, are you kidding me? You're perfect for the job. And Nick was one of between Nick and my parents, they were my 3 largest supporters, because
Yeah.
Nick said, he's like, I can't picture anyone better in that role. You love your students. I will work day and night, whatever I have to do to have them succeed. And truly, and this is not a self-praise thing, but this role is a very selfless role. Like, I'm not interested in making a title for myself. If a title comes along with it or a raise comes along with it, great.
Yeah.
That's just an addition. Like, what I'm here to do and what I'm passionate about is this program and these students, and having walked in their footsteps and knowing the successes and the failures. I've said it before, but
Yeah.
that is what makes me wake up every morning and be hungry for what's next. So, and Nick knows that. Nick has seen the highs, the lows, the bad days, the great days, and he knows that is my center stream. And I do think it's a full circle moment, in the sense of I was here as a student, and then God was like, oh, you're not done there, you're coming back. And I swear, it's like, this is where I'm meant to be, and I know that. And while I am here, which is hopefully, I call myself a lifer all the time, I'll probably be here when I'm 90, just hanging out, knitting socks for the dorm students, I don't know. But this is where I'm called to be, and I want to do my best while I'm here.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's huge. And I asked that because I realized, having had been married years ago, if you don't have a positive voice at home, what do they say? You fight so many battles outside of your home that when you come home, you should not be continuing the fight. And when I came home, my success, anything that I did good in my life, was met with jealousy, anger, why not me? So there wasn't a team. That's why I asked what Nick said. When you were negative self-talking, how did he flip the script for you? Because if you don't have that at home, it's hard. Because now, if you get negative toward yourself and you're with a negative person, now it's negative, which doesn't make it positive.
Well, when we were having that conversation, Nick is my biggest supporter, and when we were having the conversations of maybe whatever, and I said, Nick, I want this to stay between us. I don't even think I told my parents at that point. I just said, I just want to talk this out with you, and I want to figure this out. Little did I know, he's over at his workplace going, Brooke might have this opportunity. I'm so excited. And then I think we went to, I don't know, we went to some social gathering with all his coworkers, and he had prepped them all. He's like, don't say I told you. But he is just so excited for me stepping into this role. He's my biggest support system, and I'm very blessed to have him by my side.
Nick, it's Valentine's Day. I'm really trying to help you. What's your question for me?
Oh my gosh. Okay, next one, I'll do a fun one. Are you a dog or cat? You have a dog, and I've heard you talk a lot about it, but are you solely a dog person? Do you love cats as well? What's it like?
I love all animals. I do. I think most cats hate me because they know I'm a dog person. I think the cats that love me are cats that give people a chance. There should be t-shirts for that, like give people a chance. But I think, there's a lot of cats that if they think they're dogs, then we're good. If it's a cat and I feel like I don't know why cats hate people so much, but I feel like I can be either. I don't care. If you have an animal at your house, I'm gonna pet it. I'm gonna love it. And I would like to think if you're doing good things in life, if you're following God, nature responds in a positive way. If you're not, nature responds adversely. I'm a firm believer in that. I believe that in animals, and I feel like when I'm at a place, no matter what animal is there, if I go to somebody's house, like the animal is with me. Like, and then it makes me feel like, okay, God, I feel like I'm doing something right. That's good to know. I'll keep going. And so, yeah, but I mean, I love my dogs. I joke about cats, but I mean, Lily is the greatest thing ever. And she's my daughter. She's my kid. If I have a daughter someday, she's my favorite. She already knows that. It doesn't mean I'm not going to love my daughter. It doesn't mean it's going to love her less, but I have a favorite. And so, yeah, I mean, Lily to me, I look in her eyes all the time. And anytime I'm around her, I legitimately don't see human animal. I see God gave me my daughter. That's my kid. I have a responsibility to be as good to her as she is to me, which is darn near impossible because she's really, really good to me. And we have telepathy. There was this one moment where, and I'm going to be mad that I said because I don't say or that's going to bother me that I did that. But there was this moment where she was downstairs and she was looking out the window and I was brushing my teeth. She can't see me, I can't see her. My brain said, I think I have to put Lily in her big girl bed, the place that she goes and when I'm gone. So I was like, and she knows if I say big girl bed, she knows what it is, she'll open the door to it and all that stuff. So I thought in my head I should probably tell Lily to get in her big girl bed. And then she jumped off the couch. I didn't say anything. She jumped off the couch. She came upstairs. She looked at me while I was brushing my teeth. She went into the room, and I walked around. I went into my bedroom. She opened the door, and she got in, and I was like, did we just talk to each other telepathically? And that's happened more than once, which is insane. So with other things. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a dog person, but I love all animals. I just want cats to #give us a chance. So that's how I feel.
So how do you feel about Bobcats then?
Oh, I love the Bobcat. The beast Bobcat, I mean, listen, if I'm out in the wilds, I do believe that if, like I said, if you do right by nature, that animals can sense that in human beings because everything has a spirit. So I think if I was out in the wild with a Bobcat, that it would know how much I love and have supported them so that it would protect me if and when there was some type of moment that I needed protection. So I very much love the Bobcats, and to the animals of the wild, if you're listening, my name is Daniel, and I was thrown, the saint named that had the same name as me was thrown into the lion's den. That story is very personal to me for a lot of things I've dealt with in my life. So yeah, I trust wildcats. I trust the ones that are out there doing their thing like the Bobcats are, so I'm not concerned with that. I wear the Bobcats proud, so I come in peace. My question back to, so today's Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. We've joked with Nick. What are you doing for him?
Well, we are going to dinner tonight,
okay.
So we get to just spend some time together.
Okay.
Obviously, Nick has a very busy schedule, so do I. So just having that time together is precious. So we're going to go, and that's actually where we took our very first official date. Our very first nice date is where we're going back to tonight. So it holds a special place in both of our hearts.
Okay.
So.
What kind of food?
Well,
Is it a place that's a bunch of different things, or is it like one kind?
It's. Can I say the restaurant?
Yeah, you can say.
Okay, it's Persimmons. We love Persimmons.
Yeah.
So
say it 2 more times, then we have partnership.
Persimmons.
There we go.
But
let's go.
We love going there. So I don't know what I'll get tonight. They switch out their menus and do really seasonal things as well. So it is absolutely fabulous. So that's where we'll be going.
Okay.
Our very first date, we had creme brulee. So that is our fave. I'm hoping it's on the menu for tonight because they switch up their desserts every now and again. But
such high class. So many people are going to come home tonight with McDonald's, and they're going to be like, babe, I love you. And then she's going to be like, I heard the show this morning, and we didn't go to Persimmons, so the couch is now your best friend.
Well, actually, Nick texted me during the show, and he sent flowers. They're downstairs for me too. So
Oh,
when I
okay.
get out of
Pardon
the
me,
show,
Nicholas.
I get to see the flowers.
Look at this guy.
He's pretty amazing.
He's pretty great.
He started sending me flowers when we first started talking, and he's never stopped since.
Oh, wow. So
it's
people
a
should
great
vote
hubby.
for him, right?
Always.
So, yeah, Nick, I mean, this is a little shameless plug for whatever you choose in your future, but I do like hearing that. Flowers on a random Tuesday, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one for
awesome.
me?
My next one, okay, what's your favorite, because obviously you've broadcasted sports for a long time. So what is your favorite sports memory? And then once again, why? Do you have one that just sticks out in your head that was just amazing?
So of one that I've gotten to like be a part of, there's many, but I would say the entire experience, I can't pick the national championship, but the entire experience of the college football playoff. Like the fact that I've been talking about forever, they're expanding to 12, they should expand, they need to expand, they expand to 12. I did not know when I talked about their expansion that I was going to be in it in every round. And so I was in the first round at Penn State, had never been to Beaver Stadium. It was nuts. By the way, Penn State fans, if they say it's God family football in the South, then your address in Pennsylvania must have a southern zip code, because that place was absolute insane. I don't know how anybody wins at Penn State that's not Penn State. So, and SMU, I love SMU, Rhett Lashley, like I may be wearing something SMU related underneath here, but I just, I would say that game was really cool being in the first round. And then going to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which I've been to a lot. Love Gary Stokin, most charitable bowl in the country. He talks about that more than anything else. They work with childhood cancer, which is beautiful. And so Gary's just an awesome guy and just never makes it about himself. Matt Garvey, everybody there. So Randy Etzel's daughter, shout out, as well as to Dylan and everybody that works for Peach Bowl Inc. But I got to see Texas, Arizona State, which was an instant classic, double overtime. Looked like Texas was going to win it. Craziest thing, Matt Garvey and I, so I'm sitting in the front row, Garvey's sitting in the second row. We turned toward each other, like simultaneously, we both looked in each other's direction and we mouthed, wow, when it got to where it got to. Crazy game. So that was cool. And then going to the Cotton Bowl, love Scotty Rogers. Scotty, thank you for treating me the way that you treat me. And so did the Cotton Bowl down in Texas. Got to go to Las Colinas, which is like a town that they created that's like Irving. And so they made like this own town and it's growing, and they got an old theater, and that was so cool to experience. The Cotton Bowl was really cool. I get to shoot pool there. They treat us very, very well. So that was fun going to Texas, Ohio State. And then the national championship. I remember I woke up on a Sunday morning a few weeks ago, and I had an email. And literally, first thing I saw, wake up, thank you God for waking me up, look at my phone, and it says, you are approved. We look forward to welcoming you to the national championship, which is like one of the biggest things in the entire world. And to be one of the 200-300 media people that were like, we want you here in the world, insane. So I would choose the entire college football playoff to be a part of history and to work as hard as I've worked and to consider myself, I don't put any restraints on myself nationally, internationally, to be treated like a national and international viable company, and it's my company. Like, all God, on my knees every day. So, yeah, to be on the sideline, and that's where I met Captain America. So shout out to Anthony Mackie.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I would say that. My question back to you, what did you want to be as a kid growing up? Teacher.
So that was and a mom. So I actually used to tell my mom, I'm only going to college so I can be a mom. But after I got over that and realized that sometimes you still have to have a job outside of that, I wanted to be a teacher. I love kids. I love educating. I love watching people learn and grow. And that was what I stayed steady with. And what I think is so funny is I think all those things were instilled in my heart for the exact moment of right now. Like, because one, I've got to do those student support classes, but I always joke, I used to teach preschool, and I say preschool and college is not very much different. There's just an age gap. That's about the only thing that's different. But just getting to be even more than a teacher in a classroom. And teachers do incredible things, and I am very thankful to every teacher that's out there. But getting to live life with these students and getting to watch, like, educate them in not just a formal setting, but outside the classroom. Watching them have real life reactions, be upset about things, and being able to educate or lead, in next steps and what's best and how do we react, whatever. And so I think all those things were put inside me for the exact reason of one day God knew I was going to sit here today, even if I didn't. So it might not be in the traditional fashion of an educator, but I think by every means I still get to educate every day.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely doing it. You're teaching every day. So it makes perfect sense that you brought it all together. Okay, what do you got?
Oh, next one. Okay, easy one.
Okay.
Comfort food. What's your favorite thing to eat? Carvel.
I do love Carvel for breakfast. And so I would say, I always love when I got a Carvel cake because my mom would let me eat it for breakfast. Or my dad would and my mom didn't know. One of the two. So, probably since I was a little kid, because if people remember, Wegmans used to do this. I don't think they do this anymore. I wish they did. But when you walk through the bakery, they would say chocolate chip or M&M, and they would hand you a free cookie. And M&M cookies and chocolate chip cookies from Wegmans are blessed by the heavens.
I agree.
So I cannot have chewy M&M or chocolate chip Wegmans cookies in my house because I will eat them all. So I would say Wegmans. I'd probably say Wegmans chocolate chip or M&M cookies because I still to this day think about them. I still remember as a kid when I would walk up and get them. And so, I would have to probably say that. And I love cookie cakes. So, I mean, anything chocolate chip cookie probably. But it's got to be chewy. It can't be hard. That's garbage. Who wants those? No one.
No one wants those.
Literally nobody. Chips Ahoy makes the chewy ones, and if there was chewy, if I go to someone's party and there's a chewy box of Chips Ahoy, I'll eat a sleeve. And obviously I'm not a big human being, but I inappropriately eat chocolate chip cookies.
The Wegmans chocolate chip cookies will change your life. For those of you that do not live in a state that has Wegmans, my friends from Scotland, who I was just over for the wedding for, that is what they come over. I don't think they come over to see me anymore. I think they come over for the Wegmans chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
So.
What are Scotland cookies like?
Oh, unreal. Okay. Let me just start with this so my husband's never been before. Obviously, I've lived in the UK. I've done a couple trips over. And I had to convince him some way, somehow, that we need to go over to Scotland again sometime soon. Okay. So what I did, traditionally, is bring the snacks back. Yeah. And he doubted me. He didn't think they were going to be very good, but they were unreal. So most of the time, they obviously call them biscuits and different things like that. But I have shortbread biscuits down on my desk right now, or shortbread fingers, I think is what they're called. Oh, okay. Unreal. And then if I have to do a plug, if you guys ever want to order an international candy, Percy Pigs. They're made by Marks and Spencer's. They're in the UK. Okay. And they are the best. I have a picture of Nick eating his first Percy pig, and it is like a light bulb went off in his head. And then as soon as he ate them, he goes, "Okay, I understand. We're gonna go over soon. How soon can we go over? Can we get these on Amazon? What's the situation look like?"
Oh, so. Yeah. People don't understand when there's a certain taste, you just chase it. Yeah. Like Lincourt Bakery. Oh. The best. The absolute best. Good. I don't care what anybody says about anything else. Lincourt Bakery. I am Simon Cowell to anyone that tells me their bakery. Bring them to me, and I like, because I link headlights, taillights, Kigley's. By the way, if you leave Syracuse, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Headlights, taillights, Kigley's. They're old-fashioned chocolate chip cookies. They're coconut cookie, which nobody makes coconut cookies like that. It's crazy. I will not eat a donut all year long, but if you put a box of Lincourt in front of me, I will eat every single one of them. I will, and their jelly donuts are really good too. So my mom will get them, and she's like, I got these. She like makes dinner. I'll go to her house, and she's like, I got you some Lincourt cookies, and I'll have one donut, and then she's like, do you want to take the box home? And I'm like, no. She's like, but you like them. I said, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I will eat them all.
Dangerous.
I will eat them at all times of the day.
Yep.
They're too good to be true. So, okay, let's see here. If you couldn't play soccer, but you had to play another sport professionally, what sport would you trust yourself to excel at professionally?
Volleyball.
Okay.
So I played volleyball up through high school. I wanted to play in college as well,
Okay.
but our soccer girls in the first college that I went to, they were like, we don't dual sport. You are like a faithful soccer, and that is it.
Okay.
And so they would really like, soccer was what you got. I loved playing volleyball. I was libero. That was what I loved. I just also, thankfully, was quite realistic with myself at the age of 16 that I was 5'2", and I probably wasn't getting much taller. So I like literally had to say to myself, I'm like, well, as a soccer player, not the biggest deal in the world, but if you had to pick a 5'2" libero against someone that's 6 foot, I didn't think I was the one getting picked. So I had to realistically
All right.
choose my fate.
But
So-
you picked volleyball. All right. Okay. What
Yeah.
else you got?
Oh my goodness. All right. Let me think.
How many questions are on that sheet? Oh my god. There's so many.
47. No.
Okay.
Okay. If you had to change your occupation to anything, because you said you'd not even scratch the surface.
Oh, yeah.
This is an off-the-cuff question, by the way. This is not even on there.
Okay.
But if you weren't doing what you were doing, what would you do?
I think, I mean, a lot of people that know me, and I integrate it into the show a lot, but I'd be a stand-up comedian.
Would you?
For sure, yeah. And stand-up comedian, screenwriter, songwriter, might sing a little bit. It's weird, they're like all S's. But yeah, that's probably, and a basketball coach.
I like that a lot.
I would be a basketball coach.
That's awesome. Very creative things.
Yeah, I definitely like to challenge myself. And I thought to myself, I'm like, how could I handle a heckler? And I was like, you've been handling them all your life. Some of them are in your own family. Like, I've been dealing with hecklers my whole life. So how would I handle somebody in the building? By just dissolving something comedically, I'm sure. Yeah. You know? So I love making people laugh. So that would definitely be there. And there's different branches of my comedy. And so I have like dating humor because I've dated a lot of interesting people. And so my dad has suggested to me that I tell my jokes, but there's certain places that I don't go. And I was like, but they're funny. He's like, it doesn't matter. Just don't go there. So, yeah, I mean, my comedy's kind of all over the place. And it's very much in the moment. And I because I do everything in the moment, I started to write them down in my phone. And one day I decided to just go through my phone, and I was like, whose dirty mind wrote these comedies? Like, I was looking at them going, I can't tell that one, I can't tell. But yeah, I mean, my comedy, it lives in the moment.
Yeah.
It's whatever God, it's like I'm doing an eternal improv for God, and it's whatever he gives me that day, that's what I'm using.
Yeah.
So but I do like making people laugh. Okay, let's see here. If you, as a thank you for me being your exclusive multimedia marketing partner, got me an all-expense-paid trip anywhere in the world, where would you send me? And knowing that I'm a single man, what celebrity would you send me with?
Oh, my goodness. That's a good question. Well,
A man can hope. Let's open up the treasure troves that we have here at Bryan and Stratton. Where am I going and who am I going with?
oh, that's a good question. Is it, am I thinking work-minded or am I thinking
You're sending me
fun
on a
in the sun?
Yeah,
We're
you're
just
sending me on a
thanking you.
vacation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're sending me on a vacation with somebody.
I would send you. Oh, I know.
Okay.
So, and you might not thank me after this, but this is where I would send you. I would send you on a backpacking trip across Europe.
Okay.
Because I think, and then I would send you with a celebrity. Who would I send you with? Because that's really how much I like you right there, is who I send you with.
True.
Oh, I think I would send you with. I would want to send you with someone with a sense of humor, is who I'd want to send you with.
Okay.
Probably, I don't even know his first name, Zac Efron's brother. He's on the show Traders right now. We've been watching
Okay.
that. And he's a really nice guy and he's really funny. So
Okay.
I would send you with him because I think you guys would collect different friends along the way.
Okay.
You know, it'd be because on backpacking trips, I feel like you start backpacking, it's just the two of you, then you get a group of friends and you continue to build, and then
Yeah.
as you guys go on your journeys, you meet all these different
So
people.
I'd end up doing a show of it.
See,
Anyway.
and it would be, I'm
Yeah.
building your business too, so
Yeah.
you can thank me later. But
I mean, I would have said Margot Robbie, but live your life.
But because here's the thing that I think would happen
Yeah.
is backpacking, you have to be flexible, you have to
Yeah.
be willing to adapt, to change, and if you're going to have it all an enjoyable trip, you probably have to be a semi-enjoyable person. Because
Right.
if you don't like the rain or the
Yeah,
if you're going to
yeah.
complain a lot,
Yeah.
backpacking is probably not the place for you. So I think you would meet really authentic, genuine people
Yeah.
and get to have a great story from it as well, and a great show. So
Yeah.
that's where I would send you as a thank you, and
Okay.
you'd get to taste probably some different cookies along the way.
Okay. Zac Efron's brother. I'm gonna have to look that up now.
I'm terrible with names, so
That's okay. All right.
he's a
so-
nice guy though.
Okay, so now it's back to you.
Okay,
Did
If
you
you-
ask me all the ones that you wrote?
I did.
Oh,
See,
you
I wasn't,
did?
I
Oh,
wasn't gonna
okay.
be that tough on you.
Okay.
I was
thought
not
I
as
thought
tough
you
as
had
you
I
thought.
thought you had so many.
No, I
Okay.
didn't want to be too tough. I think what I would ask though, because I am interested in this, if you had to broadcast about a different topic that wasn't athletics,
Mm-hmm.
what would be like your next? What would be your next topic of focus?
Interviewing. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Interviewing people about the greater mysteries of the planet that are far smarter than me, that could break down string theory, multiverse, the thoughts of life on other planets. I'm very moved by some of the things I've been watching with Eric Weinstein.
Mhm.
Weinstein. So I've been watching a lot of his stuff, and I just find myself completely into his conversations. So I would want to venture out into that world of the cosmos and just make myself smarter by being around people that are far smarter than me. That's what I would do.
Are you a conspiracy theory person?
The funny thing about conspiracy theories is I think we should just start calling them truths. A lot of the conspiracies.
So the answer would be yes.
Well, I will say, I never ever consider myself any of that. I follow common sense and I follow dominoes. And what the vast majority of the mainstream media has failed to realize is they have been debunked on so many conspiracy theories that I don't even know why people would listen to these people anymore without thinking that they had an agenda. So I would not call myself a conspiracy theorist. I call myself a realist that pays attention. And unfortunately, I think a lot of crazy people have been proven to be right. So I find it interesting. I pick and choose, but I find it to be very interesting how people were written off as psych ward patients. And I mean, if you pay attention to what's been going on, there's been a lot of truth to a lot of lies lately, I guess. So I would say I pay attention.
There you go. That's
I
a good answer.
definitely pay attention. So my final question for you, if there was a multiverse, what do you think, if you travel to 3 parallel universes that aren't this Earth, and you met the Brooke Paro of each of those universes, what would you like each of those 3 people their professions to be.
Oh.
So if you met 3 other Brooks.
3 others, including me now. So
3 others besides you.
Besides me. All
Yeah.
right. I think one would be a teacher. Like I said, that was always my dream. So I think to stick through it on one would probably be good. Consistency. And then I can see how it went and be like, oh yeah, good thing that wasn't my path. So probably teacher would be one. I think a flight attendant would be another. It's funny that your mom was, because that was always something, because you get to travel, you get to experience the world, you meet so many new people. So I could very much see myself enjoying the job, and I would love to see all the places I'd go.
Okay.
And then number 3, I mean, obviously with a love of athletics, I would say professional soccer player.
Professional soccer player.
I mean,
Okay.
that would be unreal. And I would just love to experience what that looks like, because I don't feel like anyone ever actually feels like they're actually there. You know, those moments you dream about your whole life, then you're standing in them, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just another day, and I'm still in my mind, and we're still here. So I would love to see the inner workings of that. I would love to see just how those games feel. Because does it feel like you're showing up to work and you're there to do your job, or do you have every bit of passion? And I think it would depend on people, but I would like to put myself in those shoes and see what it's like.
Okay, well, I fibbed because I want to ask one more. What's your final one for me?
Oh, okay, my final one. This might get me in trouble. No.
Okay,
because you said, you know, you see things for what they are, right? You think of things like that.
Yeah.
What do you think about the NFL? Do you think the NFL is scripted or not?
I don't, because I think if it was, then Kansas City would have won this year. But I don't think that anything is complete. Like, I think there might be stuff. And how do I want to say this? I think that the NFL has a lot riding on the Chiefs. And I think Taylor Swift being involved kind of made things feel a little bit weird when certain calls were called certain ways. But I don't want to believe that it is. But have there been individuals that may have tried to affect the outcome of things? I mean, it's a giant business. The more people that you have, the probability of having somebody that's not savory is pretty high. So I would probably say there's probably things at some point, but I want to hope and believe that it's not. There's definitely been calls that make me question reality.
Go Bills.
But, yeah. But I think Philadelphia winning maybe debunked some of that stuff. Because I think that the NFL probably would have wanted Kansas City. My question back to you, what conspiracy theory do you believe in?
Ugh, should have never brought up. I actually, I don't know.
That there's government spending that's actually wrong? No, but you know, the fact that they're finding an insane amount of money that's been wasted in the government right now. It's crazy. And it's funny because people are politicizing it of like, are you on this side or that side? If I'm an American citizen and someone's wasting my money, this is not Democrat, Republican. This is like, I don't want to pay higher taxes. So, yeah.
To be perfectly truthful with you, I very much stay away from conspiracy theories because I think that I would be a person that would easily go down a rabbit hole.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you this then.
Yeah.
Do aliens exist?
So my husband and I argue this all the time.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And here is my reasoning. Because I think if they did, I think we just know about them. Like in the sense of, so it actually comes from like a biblical spot, which obviously my husband argues from another biblical spot. But I just think that like God would have let us know. And I think, you know, it says in the Bible that God created humans for a relation, like, because he desired relationship. So if he made us to have a relationship with him and know him, then why would he have had to create another? And maybe they don't have souls. Maybe it's just a totally different being than what I'm thinking. But I don't think there's another human-esque type of being out there because Otherwise, I think, and I do not think we're in any danger of them if there are, because I think
Yeah.
that God made us for an intention. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my thought process on it. I don't know.
So I will say this. I had a very, trying to get the lights to turn on here. I had a very, I took astronomy in college, and my teacher was so passionate, and he said, there's 100,000 galaxies that we know of. Within each galaxy are solar systems. Within each of those opportunities within the galaxy of solar systems, it would be crazy to think that we're the only ones. Now, I will say this. I do not believe they're little green men, and I don't believe they're going to suck our brains out, and I don't believe that they suction to your face and rip out of your chest like all these wonderful movie shows. I think if God put human beings on other planets, people that look like us or whatever, I wouldn't be opposed to potentially thinking that, but I am a firm believer, and I was afraid of aliens growing up. The unknown. I am a firm believer that God does not present anything to us that we cannot handle, and Hollywood has presented them only as things most of the time that we cannot handle. So my belief is if God protects man and God loves man, God loves human beings, and we are made in his image and likeness, that he would never create something that could play God. That's why when people say, do you believe in spirits and ghosts that can kill you and this and that, I'd be like, no, because then they would be omnipresent, they would be all powerful, they would be just as powerful as God. You can't kill them, they can kill you. So what helped me get through being afraid of the unknown growing up is if God is God, then how can these things be God too? That's my argument, Nick. So, but yeah, so but I mean, there are, I mean, it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Like, what is at Area 51? Are they just like experimenting on human beings? Like, what are they doing at Area 51? Is the question. And why were there so many drones in New Jersey? And why was there a drone in Washington, D.C. when I was there that legitimately looked like it was spitting something out of it? That was creepy. Like, that was really creepy. I, like, covered my face and went into the stadium. That was weird because, like, I saw it, and I was like, why does it look like there's something coming out of that thing? So some things, I mean, we obviously can't explain everything in this life, but the one thing that I do have peace with is that God is here with me, and so he's not going to give me something I can't handle. I wanted to hold this up, Stu, if you're still watching and or listening. This is my Charlotte FC scarf. It was given to me by my mother. I became a Charlotte FC fan before they even played a single match. So, and that's what I've done with mostly all of my teams, is I've loved them before anybody could bandwagon jump them. And it also fits the colors of Bryan and Stratton pretty well. So I love the Queen City. I love you, Charlotte. We do business out there with Parker, Banner, Kent, and Wayne. So the comic book and gaming place in Cornelius on 21500 Catawba Ave, Suite A in Cornelius, just outside of Charlotte. And we work with the Brooklyn Pickle that is on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines by Pinehurst Golf Courses. So I just wanted to show this because I promised Coach Stu I'd have a little thing for him to enjoy. So this is the scarf that keeps me warm, my Charlotte FC one. And I accidentally left it at Mother's Cupboard, and they protected it for me. So I want to thank them at Mother's Cupboard for that. So with that, Brooke, you get the final word after I tell everybody a quick thank you. So I do want to say many thanks to everybody that's watched and listened up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe, including those of you that listen in the air on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Many thanks to everybody that has found us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks from New York to North Carolina to Brooklyn Pickle down in Southern Pines. And, of course, many thanks to our wonderful team of partners in Central and Upstate New York, our exclusive studio partner in Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Servomation, MON-FRI, the snack capital of the world. A fantastic place to get unique stuff for Valentine's Day. So get there quick before your significant other finds out that you forgot. Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare. I swear I'm just doing something for the kids. No, you're not, liar. Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and your Binghamton University Bearcats. You can find them all on their own playlist on YouTube by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Lemoyne playlist, BSC Syracuse playlist, and Binghamton playlist. Each of them are on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to lemoynedolphins.com, syracuse.bscbobcats.com, as well as binghamtonbearcats.com. I will say my final thing that I normally say at the end of the show, but you get our final word before that. What's your final word?
I just want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for making time to have me on the show today. Thank you for all the fun questions, the laughs. It's been great. If you have not come to a Bryan Stratton Bobcat game, we ask you to come out. Our senior night, once again, is Sunday. It is being held at OCC. We will have updates based on weather, of course.
Yeah.
But we would love to see everybody out there celebrating and spurring on our Bobcats this weekend.
Absolutely. So shout out to the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, to Brooke Paro, your new athletics director, and many thanks to men's soccer with Stuart Flaherty, as well as women's soccer with Alex Grigorita, the women's basketball team with Tay Baker, and everyone that's done a fantastic job as Tay's been out. And of course, many thanks to men's basketball and Clay Gagan Sherman, as well as Nolan Cass and all the work he does behind the scenes. We look forward to talking with you all soon. Shout out to my lady Mary Hawkins as well, who has taken some time with me and told her story. So we appreciate you, Mary, very much so, and thank you for your support and for the vision and the mission that you've had as a campus director for both of the campuses here in Syracuse and Liverpool. And of course, we want to tell you to find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And as we always leave you from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, God bless, no stress, do your best. Have a fantastic day, stay warm, and remember that Valentine's Day is for everybody you love, not just that significant other. So make sure you do something nice for somebody today, even if it's a stranger.